happy to see that there are more than 145 people, those who have joined us at present, and hope some will be joining us in some more time. For those who have joined us just now, I want to welcome you for today's program. We're going to discuss on a very important subject matter, and I hope and pray that this subject which I'm discussing, I'll keep it brief, but I'll give you good amount of substance and some clues in order to deal with this very difficult problem which our world is facing today. Believe me, most of us might have not thought about it. We have probably heard only a few instances of such a thing called a suicide. But believe me, today the world is facing this as a pandemic, as they say. Coronavirus definitely is a pandemic for the day. However, it seems like the suicide is a bigger pandemic which is actually awaiting the whole world. According to the people, according to the psychologists, they say that today's world is facing mental disorders as the greatest challenge in our society. So I request you that because this is an important subject matter, please pay attention. Mainly, while you are hearing this program, you may not use other social media channels, etc. And you may just pay your attention on what I'm speaking, because you're not in front of me. I really don't know where you are and what you are with. And in case if you have other things to do, I request for 45 minutes, please pay attention. I'll surely have some interaction. I'll tell you some stories, some facts and figures and statistics, and most importantly, I'll teach you some important principles of life. This is what I'm going to do today. Thank you. Let's go ahead. So, do we have the right to die? Is suicide a joyful solution for a stressful life? So, I remember in my own life, I want to tell you this right in the beginning. I have been counseling a lot of people. So, at least I would have counseled something close to three digits, people. So, there have been 3 instances of people who have come to me with a direct problem of they were about to plan a suicide. 3 people, have come to me with that direct problem. That, in fact, I had to intervene. For 2 of them, I had to intervene because I saw that something is going wrong with their life. And I dialed them up and I called them up, because I came to know, because I care for them. So therefore, I called them and I actually was suspecting, it came true, that they were into that phase that they were planning some suicidal thoughts going on. Believe me, today, the society, the way it is living, I'll not be surprised if some of you type on your chat box and say, even I was one of them who was contemplating to take my life, contemplating that maybe I should commit suicide or end my life in some way or other. At different points of time in life, people become frustrated, they become depressed, they become stressed up, they don't know what to do. They start feeling, is there anybody who can help me? When they don't find anyone, if they are in the dead end of the road, and that's the time when people start feeling, maybe that's it, I can't face it anymore. I don't know what's going to be there next. If this is so bad now, it can become worse tomorrow. So better I just close my eyes forever. Believe me, friends, those who have joined us today, it could be that some of you have at some point of time in your life probably contemplated on this. There were 3 people whom I have helped directly in dealing with this problem. When they actually had desired and thought of that they're going to commit suicide. Think about that. And of course, there are many others whom I have counseled when they were in certain sort of depression, various levels of depression, various levels of stress. Life today is very stressful. Unfortunately, it seems like we have lost the key to happiness in our life. It seems like, as I'm going to show that to you, it seems like we don't know how to live life. It seems like we are not valuing each other. It seems like we are not valuing lives of people. It seems like that we are valuing money more than people. Today, if you see, for example, so many of you are students. So, for example, what is the relationship which you have with your own teacher in your college? What is the relationship which you have with your teacher? Does your teacher even know your name? Or rather, how many teachers whom you have taken courses under, they know your name and they value you? Have they ever taken your name in the entire class of, say, one semester which you took in engineering college, or one trimester which you took in your MBA college, or in any BCom or commerce or anything which you have done? Did they even take your name? I know, because I am from being from IIT. I had studied 8 semesters over there, and there were so many teachers. And believe me, many of these times, these teachers even didn't know our names. For them, I am merely a roll number. That's it. And what matters for them is the more number of students which are enrolled for a course, More number of students which are there, which are taking their classes, the more money they get. Yes, unfortunately, probably today we have stopped valuing people, which means we have stopped valuing life. If you are with me for this point, that you have observed this, that people have stopped valuing life and stopped valuing people, you please type yes so that I can see that yes, you are able to understand what I'm communicating. Please type yes if you have seen this happening, that people are not valuing others. They're not valuing others. If they are not valuing people, we are not valuing people, which means we are not valuing life. For us, money has probably become more important, or something else has become more important. As they say, today's world in 21st century, it seems like we love things and we use people. Is it not true? It seems like we love things and we use people. Whereas in a civilized society, it should be opposite. And we should be loving people, using things. Is it not true? That's a society which we want to create, where we love people and we use things. Whereas in today's society, it seems like we love things and we use people. And why exactly it happens is what I'm going to show to you. Because of that reason alone, we find today this pandemic is increasing. So what exactly is the meaning of suicide? Suicide means, according to dictionary, it says the act of killing yourself deliberately, the intentional taking of one's own life. See, you must have seen people, those who are violent on others. If you do violence on someone else, that person may be able to protect himself or herself. But if you do violence on yourself, that is the greatest trouble you can create. Why? Because no one can help you, right? Because you are only hurting yourself. If I try to hurt someone else, they may have some defense mechanism. They may try to, avoid it. They may do so many things. Whereas if you only become your own enemy and you want to take your own life, you want to hurt yourself, who can help you? It becomes very difficult. Therefore, it's very difficult to deal with suicide. It's easy to deal with violence. Okay, it's easy to deal with violence, etc. But it's very difficult to deal with suicide. According to WHO statistics in 2016, it says that 7,93,000 suicides happened just in 2016. That's 2016 statistics. And therefore, WHO says that World Health Organization, WHO means World Health Organization. It says that every year, close to 800,000 people die due to suicide. And it says that among the age group of 15 to 29, the age group which I'm addressing today, the young group of people, the youths, right? For these people, suicide has now become the third biggest cause of death of the young people. Can you imagine? Third cause. It is the third cause of the young people dying in today's world. Just imagine. See, I don't like these statistics. Please believe me, I don't like the statistics. For me, if it's just even one person who has killed himself or herself due to suicide, it's a great tragic incident for me. And I have a concern for that person. I have a concern for life. I have concern for people. But I have to share this unfortunate statistics with you, because we have to know that what is the world which we are living in. Because I'm going to arrive at a conclusion because with the help of this statistic. Okay, so I don't like negativity, but I have to tell you the reality. I'm not wanting to create a negative picture. I'm wanting to show you the reality so that we can create a brighter picture together. It says that, which means apparently there is one person committing suicide every 40 seconds. Every 40 seconds, one person is committing suicide today. So if it's right now, it's 6:20 almost, right? It's around 6:18. And our program began at 6 o'clock. So in 18 minutes, how many people would have committed suicide? Because if every 40 seconds, there is one person committing suicide. That means more than 20 people have committed suicide till now in some part of the world. So tragic. Can you imagine? Friends, I think all of us are living in a world where we do not value life. I really have to conclude this. I really don't like this. I need your help. Create a brighter future for all of us and for our friends, our brothers and our sisters, right? Because the one who is dying is our brother or our sister, isn't it? So we have that social responsibility to help such people and to help ourselves also. What's happening? Let's see. Why is it happening? And WHO even further goes and says that for every one person who dies due to suicide, there are 20 others attempting it. Can you imagine? For every one person who dies due to suicide, there are 20 others who have attempted. Which means 20 of them somehow got saved or protected, or it was a failure attempt towards suicide, and one got success, which means it's a tragic figure. And here is it in front of you, which means that there is a suicide attempt every 2 seconds. Every 2 seconds. We have 30. That means in a minute, there are 30 people attempting suicide. 20 minutes have passed from when I'm speaking, from all of us being together. 20 minutes have passed, right? I'm speaking from last 10 minutes, but 20 minutes have passed, which means in this 20 minutes, how many people have attempted suicide? 30 into 20, that is 600 people. Can you imagine? It's crazy. Now tell me your honest opinion. After you see the statistics, tell me on your chat box, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? Please, everybody, I request you. I need your inputs. I need that you think about what I'm presenting to you, because it's a great concern. Please type it on your chat box and tell me, please, how are you feeling after you have read this statistics which I'm sharing with you? Yeah, very careless. Some people are saying it's bad, it's shocking. It's what? You're not valuing life. Yes, true. Yes. Sandhya, I'm also shocked with this. What is happening? Say hi. Yeah, it's really disturbing. It's really concerning. And that's the reason I am in front of you to speak today something about. Yes, it's shocking. It's more than worse. Death rate is increasing. Yeah, correct. Exactly. It's shocking. Yes, Manisha. Vineet, you're right. It's shocking. People need warmth in life. Yes, true. Now, what kind of planet, what we have created in this world? Every 2 seconds, a person is committing violent death, suicide. Oh, it's really something which we need to, this must be addressed. Santosh, you're right. I'm thankful that you are thinking about this. Please share the statistics. Promise me that you're going to share the statistics with at least 2 or 3 people whom you know. Because it's a worldwide concern and it needs to be addressed, right? So let me go ahead. Now the thing is that some of us, we feel that maybe those who are committing suicide, these people, they are failures in life. These people, they did not get their luck. It was a bad luck, They could not get some finance. They could not get some money. They could not. We have this kind of a picture that those people who are frustrated from life, who have not got job, who have not got, good girlfriend or good wife, who have not got good marks, etc. Who have not got anything good in life. These are the ones who must be committing suicide, isn't it? That's what we feel. We think like that. That maybe those who are unsuccessful, good for nothing fellows, who rejected piece of society. Probably these are the people who are committing suicide. Friends, believe me. I went to Kota. Okay, I think the organizers introduced myself. It's one of my passions to be serving people. From last 15 years of my life, actually right from my teenage, I had the desire to serve and help in transforming society. It's by God's grace that I have some opportunity to speak to a lot of people. So I've been addressing a lot of people in Kota, Kota being the education capital of India. But do you know something? Many of the years when I was going to Kota, every single year, you must be knowing, Kota is the education capital of India, right? There were more than 2.5 lakh students at one point of time who were studying in Kota. So when I used to be visiting, most of my talks, whenever I was giving, after that there were people who would come and meet, who would come and talk with me. In one of these talks, when I was talking about self-confidence, after I gave a 1.5 hours program, and the house full, the people were like wanting to enter from different directions, and we had to actually place a bar because the hall size was limited. So it was house full, and they were like many of the parents also wanted to attend, so they were also there. After I gave a program, you know what? It is shocking. It will be shocking to you. I want to share with you something. 2 things which were shocking. One is, many of the parents came to me. Okay, many of the parents came to me and they started telling, "Sir, it seems like what you are speaking to our children, we are the ones who should know it first." First shocking thing. I was talking to the children, right, of age group of 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay. And many of these parents, they came and told me that even we don't know all that which you are speaking. It seems like we are making a lot of mistakes in life, because of which our children must be suffering. So they said that we want to hear your programs and lectures so that we can help our children. That's the first thing. Which means, even if you are in a role of a caretaker, even if you are a well-wisher of a person, you need wisdom to take care. Because probably some of the things which we are doing with our children, with our people who in the caretaker's role, maybe that is responsible for wrong thing which is happening with our dependents. Okay, the second shocking thing you will see is what happened was one student came running directly after the program. He was like, was jumping up and down. He was just jumping up and down. He was like so happy. And then he said that many of us asked that, what happened? Why are you so happy? He said, if I did not attend this program, I was about to go and commit suicide. Can you imagine? Right in that program, he said to us, he gave us a video feedback in fact. He said, I am a testimony who wants to share this. If I did not attend this program today, I was there out and I was about to go and commit suicide. And I am telling you, it is not only those people, those who are frustrated in life, those who have not got success in life, those who have no marks in life, no grades, etc., those who commit suicide. No, dear friends. The reality is even the most famous and successful people commit suicide. And this is something which is going viral. I really don't like that. Please, you see, this person is a famous man. All of us know. We don't have to introduce that. SSR, we don't have to introduce him. But dear friends, after the person has died, after he has taken certain steps, what's the use of talking about? We could have saved probably this person if we gave him some warmth, if we gave him some appreciation when he was alive, right? Isn't it? Now everybody is finding out what happened, and they're crying tears. No, this is one thing which I'm going to tell you very soon. So there are many people. This is Jia Khan. Unfortunate. I really feel, for every single one of them, in my heart, I really feel life is so beautiful. Life is so wonderful. Why did they have to take such wrong steps in their life? I really want that each and every one of you help someone out with the knowledge which I'm going to give you. Divya Bharati. Many of these people were on the success ladder top, they were at the top of their success ladder and they had so many fan followers. They were so exorbitantly successful. Most of you probably would be wanting to be like them, they are your heroes, etc. But what happened to them? What kind of empty lives were they living? It seems like they were wanting to fill the jar of their life with something, but it was always remaining empty. Seems like we are doing some mistake in life. Seems like every one of us are taught to do some mistakes in life. Pratyusha, oh my God. My mother was telling me it was such a tragedy for her to hear when she heard about her, because she was on the Indian television cinema. So many of the mothers, many of your mothers probably would have more emotional, bonding with her. So my mother was telling, when she heard that, she was like very unhappy about what happened. Such a person, had to commit suicide. Shal, my God, it's all people, they're committing suicide. And many of the suicides have happened just in last 6 months or 7-8 months, you see. I'm telling you, whatever dates I know, I'm putting there. Inder Kumar. And all these people are very famous. Type any one of their names, you have so many Google pages for them. They are not unsuccessful people. Why did they have to take these steps? She was Miss India. That was like Miss Universe. Miss Universe. She was Miss Universe. That means she was declared to the most beautiful girl on planet Earth. And then what happened? What happened to her? And recently, this also happened on 24th of June, just before our program. Our program got finalized. After that, I heard that this girl also committed suicide. It's so unfortunate. Just at the age of 16. Then you have Mukesh Agrawal, who was a famous businessman. He was the the husband of the famous actress Rekha. Right? He was the husband. He committed suicide. Then you have many of the Westerners. Marilyn, she is so famous. She was so famous personality. Steffi Adams, Chester, Dia Mary, so many of them. Why is it happening? The point which I'm telling you at this point of time, I'm going to tell about the reasons. Okay, but I want to tell you this, that even such famous and successful people are committing suicide. And it seems that our definition of success, our definition of happiness is wrong. Is it not true? Because externally speaking, these people are really famous. Okay, externally speaking, these people are really successful. Then what makes them to commit suicide? If our definition of life was become like them, become successful like them, have a fan following like them, have a wealth like them, have status symbol like them, that's success of life. If that's what we are equating our life to, then probably we are in some problem. Probably we are teaching people wrong things. How many of you are understanding this, that maybe there is some wrong thing which we are teaching? Our definition of success is wrong. Our definition of happiness is wrong, which we are teaching to people. How many of you are able to appreciate this? Please type it in your text. Type in your chat box so I can see understand this, please. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Bal Nagesh, I'll share with you this recording afterwards. Please type it. Yes, yes. Our definition of happiness is wrong. Our definition of success is wrong. We are teaching people wrong thing. And that's why their lives always remain empty. Yes, please type it on your chat box if you're with me. Yeah. Please type it on your chat box if you're with me for this. Yeah, correct. Yes. So some of you are typing, I'm seeing that. Many of you, yes, Abhishek, you're right. Something is lacking in the word. Yes, we are wrong. Yes, many of you are agreeing. Thank you. Please type it, so that I can see. Yeah, correct. Sandhya, you're right. We are probably doing some mistake. Chaitanya, thank you. Suman here. I want to see from you. As many people I see, it will be helpful for me. Yes, so we are wrong. Our perspectives are wrong. Our definitions of life are wrong. They're learning wrong thing. Believe me, my dear friends, we have gone in wrong direction. Isn't it sufficient proof of what's happening around us is wrong? So up till now, I shared with you something negative. I'm going to now share with you something positive, because I don't like negativity. I don't want to keep you negative. I have to tell you what's the reality, but as I told you, not to create a wrong negative picture for you. I just want to say what is the reality, and now I want to show you the reasons and how we can avoid it. Okay, I'm going to tell you 3 reasons so that we can avoid. Only 3 reasons. Many times people say there are 100 reasons for suicide. No, I say there are only 3 reasons. Believe me, dear friends, you will agree with me once I present it. There are only 3 reasons why any person will want to take up their life. Please see this. First one. Number 1. Number one reason for people to take their life is, this is the most common reason. Okay? That's why I say number 1. Please hold on and see this. No love in my life. This is what that person was telling whom I was counseling. This boy just came to me. He was from a successful college like IIT. He was working in, I don't want to name companies, etc., because many of you who are attending me in my program may know that, may know me, and therefore may start relating whom I'm talking about. So therefore, I don't want to tell real details, but I'm just telling this, that he was from a very prestigious college, IIT, and he's alive, of course. So he's from a prestigious college from like IIT, and he was working in big multinational company. And I don't want to name which company. And he was just so unhappy in life. And I called him in the evening. There was a certain thing happening. I know him very well, so I called him. I sensed that something wrong is going on from last 14-15 days in his life, and therefore I just dialed him. It was evening 8:30 p.m. and he did not pick up. I was very alarmed and concerned, and I was thinking like, what happened? 9:30 I was dialing him, and 9:30 he picked up. He said, I am on the beach. And what was he was about to do? He said, I don't think so anybody loves me. I think that I just don't want to live. I said, hold on, wherever you are, you just take a bus. I told him, just take a bus, you take a taxi, you take anything, you just come and be in this place. I said, you come in this place, I'll meet you here. You just hold on, I want to talk to you. I told him, I want to talk to you. I don't want to do anything else, just wait for a time. Whatever you want to do in life, you do, but just come and meet me before you do. Because he knows me and he loves me, he just came and he could avoid things. But what he was going through, although he was having so much money, he has parents, he has brothers, sister, he has so many people, but what he was telling to me, honestly, I'm telling this to you, he was saying to me this, I'm sharing it with you in front of you. He was saying to me something like this statement: I don't have anyone who cares for me. This is what he was telling me. This is what people say. That's the reason they're committing suicide. If there is one person whom they can feel that he cares for me, he or she cares for me, that's enough to stop committing suicide. This boy, as I called, he related with me. I'm not his relative. I'm not his brother. I'm not his sister. I'm not his blood relative. I was counseling him. I said, you wait, you come. And I spoke to him with love and care and concern. Finish. He said, I will not take this step ever in my life. This is what he promised me. I made him give this promise. You're not going to do this ever in your life, because at least one person loves you. You matter a lot for me. I told him, you matter a lot for me, and you're not going to do this. You see, all that which is required for a person to live is, at least there is one person who can love me. That's what we want, right? Is it not true? For all that which we are doing in our life, is it not that we want at least one person loves me? Isn't it? If there is no one who loves you, what are you living for? The life becomes so dry and empty. Okay? Just a second. He says, I don't have anyone who loves me. I am lonely. There are 8 billion. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Think about it. There are 8 billion people on this planet. Okay? We say it is overcrowded. And what people talk when they are wanting to commit suicide is, I am lonely. What? You don't have, where are those 8 billion people minus one? No, where are they? You say, I'm lonely. I'm not. Why they are calling themselves as lonely? Their heart is not connecting with one person also. Their heart is not connecting. Or we have created a society where we don't want to connect to anybody. What a society we are living in. Out these 8 billion people on the planet is not even able to connect to one of them. This is another thing which people think. This is reason number one. This is all one reason. This is not just one reason. They say, I am unlovable. What? Unlovable? I can give you, any one of you, I can give you 100 reasons why you should be loved. Just because you're so wonderful. Life is lovable. Life is part of God. I remember, because I have read a lot of Indian scriptures and literatures, this verse, there is a verse in the Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna is speaking this verse in the Bhagavad Gita. He says that Aham bija pradapitaha, that I am the seed-giving father for all the living entities in this world. So I say, at least there is one person who loves you, that is God. God says that another verse in the Bhagavad Gita where Lord Krishna is speaking this to Arjuna, very famous dialogue. Mahatma Gandhi was always fond of Bhagavad Gita. So I also read that, and I recommend that people can. It is really a very wonderful book about life. So there, one of the verses again in Sanskrit, they say that he says that I am the Suhridam. I am the heart-to-heart friend of every living entity. So at least God loves every one of us. So we don't have to take our life, because God really loves us. And believe me, if we just connect to Him, we can really do wonders. Okay? So this is reason number one. And I am telling you, most people, they commit suicide only because of this reason. When they are feeling that I am not lovable, people don't love me, they don't care for me. Yeah, when is this? Then when they are going to many of us in our interactions with people, knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously, make them feel they are not worth living. And this is what I'm talking about. How to avoid suicide, right? How to avoid suicide? This is the first way to avoid suicide. Love people. Make them feel loved. Make them feel cared. My dear friend, we don't know how we speak to other person. Maybe your speech, your words which you spoke to that person was the last words which was sufficient break, as they say, the camel's back. The camel's back, they say, there is a saying in Hindi, that the camel's back got broken by the last piece of straw. Your words, what you are using for that person, may be those words which hurt him or her so much that they start feeling like this, and then they enter into this process. We don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. I don't want any of our brothers and sisters to feel like this. They are not lovable. Let's create a world where we love each other. Okay? That's reason number one. Reason number two. This is another biggest problem which people have, because of which they commit suicide. Please pay attention here. If any one of you are mother or father, if any one of you in future, most of you are going to become mother and father, right? So this is second one, which is most critical one. Okay, this people start feeling worthless. I am good for nothing. This is what people start feeling when they start wanting to commit suicide. And we are the ones who might make them feel like that. There was one boy came running to me. Again, as I said to you, I help people, right? This one boy came running to me, he said, I'm getting suicide thought. I said, why? No, he came to me and he said to me, I'm getting suicide thought. I said, really? Why? Why are you getting suicide thoughts? He said, and this man, again, I'm not going to tell you all the details, because people start relating who is he or who is she. So this person, his mother, his father, this is what people feel, that my life is purposeless, my life is meaningless, I am useless, I am worthless. It doesn't matter to anybody whether I live or die. They start feeling like this. It's then when they want to commit suicide. Probably some of us are making others feel like they're useless, they're worthless, they're good for nothing. Oh my God. So I was telling this example, this boy, he was son of a really rich man. His mother is also very successful, father is really very successful. But why he was feeling because his father was constantly putting a pressure on him that why you are not successful. His father, of course, is a very successful man. He has a lot of, lot of money, lot of huge amounts of money. Okay, and this boy himself had some good success in life, but father was constantly asking, why you're not like this, why you're not like this, why you're not like, to the extent that he was shouting him. The only thing which he did not do was he did not use physical violence. Other than that, he would just shout and just compare him with this person and that person, and his worth was almost going down in the ground. And that's when he came and met me, and I told him that he told me that I'm good for nothing. I said, how do you say that? Because my father says this happened, I'm good for nothing. I cannot please my father. I cannot please my mother. I said, no, I'm sorry. I differ. I differ from them. I made him write down 100, not 100 literally. I made him write down 20 things which he is good at. I made him write down 20 things which he is doing good. 20 ways his life is so meaningful. 20 ways he is contributing to this world. He became so happy. And I made him again promise, anytime you get such kind of a thought, what are you going to do? You're going to just read this. And I made him write it down so that he actually should see that. Just before meeting me, he was about to go to the psychiatrist in America because his father has a lot of money. He has already booked certain appointments and so many things, and he was about to spend a huge amount of money into such things. But thank God, his money also got saved, and he also got saved, because all these psychiatrists, etc. See, if somebody is making money on your life, do not go to them. Please, if somebody is going to make money on your life, then it's very dangerous. Then probably they're not going to tell you the truth, because they're going to treat you as a customer. They're going to treat you for money. Then it's not going to be working. So I don't have that kind of relationship with him. So therefore, I love him. Therefore, out of my love, I expressed certain things. I did some service to him, and he was so happy. He was ecstatic after that. He was just like, okay, thank you so much. I have a purpose of my life. He said, you are giving me a meaning in my life. You're giving me to live. Some meaning I can contribute to this world. See, this is what happens to people when they want to commit suicide. They start feeling I'm worthless. At present, there are around 190 people who are watching me. Please think about it. Has it ever happened to you? Has it ever occurred to you when you start feeling that I am not having any purpose to live? Hey, what is the reason which I am living? This is what happens to these many famous people. Start feeling like I have got this also, I've got this also, I've got that also, but still I am feeling empty. At least for those who are not that successful, they have a hope that if I go on the top, I will be happy. Those who are on the top and you realize you have nothing, you are empty, what will you do? Come to the dead end. That's the reason many of the successful people and famous people, they commit suicide, right? I'm going to make a video on that for 5 minutes on my YouTube also. Sometime later, I'm going to publish that. Reason number 3, which is again, I'm putting in sequence. First reason is the most important reason. Second reason is the second most important reason. Third one is lesser. This happens with lesser number of people, but this also is happening in our society. What is that? People do not know how to handle failures in life. This is a reason number 3. People do not know how to handle failures in life. They are being programmed to success. They are being taught that the only thing in life is that you have to get success. They don't know how to face failures. It's then they may be committing suicide. And this I call it as escapist mentality. You get problems in life all throughout the life. When you get something, you want to get a quick solution, quick. You don't want to pay the price. You want to get a quick solution, right? So then quick solution is end your life, end to all the problems. So somebody when I was telling to somebody, I said, according to our scriptures, when a person takes his life, he gets a pain which is equivalent to 40,000 scorpions biting him all at once. I told that person, according to our scriptures, according to Vedas, it says that when a person is dying, the pain which he or she has to go through is equivalent to 40,000 scorpions biting at once. He said, then why do you have to die? I told him. So he said, you know why? Because at present, when I'm living any moment, it is equivalent to 80,000 scorpions biting. At least at the time of death, it will be only 40,000. He said to me, I am feeling like right now 80,000 scorpions are biting me. It's better to die than to live, because on death, there will be only 40,000 scorpions. I said, okay. Then I told him, would you like to describe? Would you like to describe the challenges which you are facing, describe the problems which you are facing? As he started describing, I told, see, you have a solution, right? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? People are trying to get shortcuts in life. Therefore, I write books. In my time management book, as you were saying, I'm author of 3 books. So in my time management book, in the introduction itself, I wrote this, and I told to people, if you're looking for shortcuts in life, I'm sorry. Many times people tell me, can you please tell me some shortcut? Please give me some short tip. I said, there are no shortcuts in life. Please, there are no shortcuts in life. If you are looking for shortcuts, this is what happens to you. You go on Google, there are a lot of shortcuts. People feel like, it has to go very quickly. I can solve all problems quickly. No, life is going to remain difficult. And if we base our life on certain strong principles and values, we can make it beautiful. So don't get into shortcuts when there are problems. Get into principles and apply them in your life, which I'm going to give you now. Now, the part of my presentation is going to be really enjoyable. Okay, next few minutes with you, please stay back, because I'm going to talk about what should we do. And this is something I'm going to give you an exercise. You're going to experience with me. So I have how much time now? I have 15 minutes more. Okay. So what should we do now? We have to learn the right way of living. Please type it on your chat box if you are now excited about knowing how to go about learning. So if you are excited about this, that you want to learn more about the principles of life, please kindly write on the chat box. Faninder, I won't be able to take any questions in between. Don't raise hands. Please type. Super excited. Okay, many of you are saying, sir, please continue. Yes, I'm going to continue. I have 15 more minutes. I have one exercise which I'm going to solve, be with you, and you're going to see it working for you. I'm going to make you see it working for you. What I'm going to talk, I'm going to make you realize it in the next 15 minutes. You're excited. Oh, thank you for Sneha. Thank you. Others also can please kindly type. I get your feedback. Yeah. Okay, so some of you are saying you can speak for more than 15 minutes. I'll try. Let's see. I really wish that each and every one of you stay back with me to the end. That's why I'll limit it to some short time. Okay, waiting. Thank you. Okay, so they learn the right way of living. This is life. And see, from where I'm talking about this is my experience of counseling hundreds of people. Number one, I have counseled, by God's grace, a lot of people. Direct counseling I've done for hundreds of people, and in terms of guiding, I have guided a lot more number of people. A lot of people ask me questions about life, etc. This is about my experiences of life. I can share with you. And second, I have learned a lot of these principles from our Indian scriptures, because 10 years of my life I gave to dedicatedly research and search in our scriptures the meaning of life and purpose of life and what's the secret of living. I did that, and I was finding that people are doing mistakes. People are doing silly mistakes. Why are they doing like that? And that's when I really felt that it's really important to teach the world simple wisdom, which we are missing. And believe me, what I'm going to tell you is not rocket science. I'm not going to tell you rocket science. I'm going to tell you really simple principles of life. And just few of them. I'm going to share, I think, 5 or 6 of them. Very small, and each one of them you can practice right now. You do not require a huge thing to be done. Some people say, unless you give lakhs of rupees, you cannot change yourself, etc. I say no. You just need to apply this. You can apply this right now. Small principles of life I'm going to tell you. Please take this seriously. Okay? Please take this seriously. Number one, there is in front of you, first thing which you need to do. Okay, what is that? Let's see. Here is it. The first one, suicide shows as the failure of our society. We have wrong definition of success and social value system. That we already said. So what is that which we have to do? This is the first thing. We are teaching people wrong way to live. Please stop competing. This is the first thing which you can do immediately. It's not very difficult. You can stop competing with friends. We are not running a rat race. We are not running a rat race. Let's create a society where we don't value competition, where we value cooperation. Let's create a society. I request you, please. Let us create a society. Let us teach our children. Let us treat our brothers and sisters. Let us learn this for ourselves. Let us practice this for ourselves. Let us not compete with others. Let us try to cooperate with others. I say this always. I always say this. Please listen to me. I always say this. If you compete, you create enemies. If you compete, you create enemies. If you complement, you create friends. If you compete, you create enemies. If you complement with each other, complement means you have a friendship and you help the other person in getting their goals, they help you in getting your goals, right? It's called as complementing. If you complement, you get friends. If you compete, you get enemies. It's your choice what you want to do. This I always say this. And believe me, if we start complimenting with people, people will never commit this kind of suicide. We are teaching, we are being taught in our education system, we are being taught this ugliest thing. What we are being taught, if I have to become successful, I have to push 100 people other down. Why? Why we have to have this definition of success? That for me to be successful, I have to kick other 100 people down. No, I don't want to create a world like that. Our brothers and sisters have to be kicked down, and then some of them unfortunately get into this trap of suicide, start feeling that nobody loves me. Isn't it? Nowadays this competition is so harsh, even inside the family it has come into picture. Even within the family members also, now sometimes there is competition. Can you imagine? If we start cooperating with each other, if we start complementing with each other, this whole world will become like one big family. And this is what we wish to do. This is what God has taught us in His scriptures. That Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Let us create a world where everybody is a brother and sister. Why? When there is a common father, all of us become brother and sister. There is a common father, all of us are brother and sister. Who is that common father? God. I am not talking about religion. I am not talking about Hindu, Muslim. And let us not get into those things. I am simply talking a fundamental concept of life. All of us are brothers and sisters of that Father God. Let us create this kind of culture. Let us not create a culture based on competing. Let us create a culture based on cooperation. Let me try to help somebody to get successful. And believe me, if you help others, you also get a lot of help. I say this to people. If you want to become handsome, there is something which you can do. Of course, for women also, it is true. If you want to become handsome, there is something which you can do. What you can do? Just give your hand to some. If you want to become handsome, there is something which you can do immediately. What is that? Just give your hand to some and see how handsome you become. Whether you are a man or a woman, okay? I'm not doing gender bias. Okay? So second one which I want to tell you. Okay? It's so simple. Second one. Comparison is an act of violence. Let's stop comparing with others. Oh my God. This comparison is so harsh. So harsh. You see, I'm going to tell you a story. There was one very rich lady, and she had a servant in the house. And both the rich lady and the maid servant got fever. And then the doctor came to treat the patients. Both of them were patients. And the doctor taught the lady of the house, the rich malkin, the rich lady of the house, and checked how much temperature, etc. And then later on, you also checked the maid servant, because poor maid servant was also sick. And then after that treating both of them, the doctor was about to go. That time the lady of the house, she called. What was my temperature? He said, madam, you do not have much fever. You just have some 1 degree fever, almost about 100. Her fever was only 100. He said, okay. But what was my maid servant's temperature? How much was her temperature? He said, oh, she is really sick. Madam, she has 103. She's really sick. I had to give her medicines and injection also. She is 103. You are only 100. He said, impossible. Madam said, it is impossible. How can she have something more than me? She's simply a servant in my house. You have to change. If she has got 103, you have to give me 105. Doctor was thinking, what? The lady was comparing even in the temperature. This is how much we are comparing. We are just from the morning we wake up, we start seeing our selfie. Kisko kitna mila? Who has got how much? Friends on my Facebook, on this and that. Oh my God, so much comparison. This social media culture is really making people wild on comparing. All the time people are having this selfie. Actually, I don't even know how to take this selfie, etc. I never did that. Selfie. People taking this selfie and then want to post it and see I'm looking better, he's looking better or not. Oh my God, why we have to compare with others? If somebody is good, if somebody is wonderful, you can take inspiration from them and you can try to be as good as they are. Why compare? Why compare and say he is better than, or he is lesser than me, he is better than me? Why make a world like that? Why we have to compare? It's a disease. It's a mental disease which at the end can take up into this kind of a problem. See, because of this competing, because of this comparing, this third problem which comes, which we have to give up. What is that? Stop criticizing. This is the third problem. If you compete, if you compare, what will you do? You also do the third thing, which is criticizing. Oh my God, today people slander each other. Slander, you know what is the meaning of slander? Slander means speak such harsh words. One mistake a person does, and 1,000 people are wanting to, speak about it. Social media, he did this, he did this, he did that, he did this, he did this, he did this. Oof, so much negativity. If there is something good, nobody talks about it. If there is something bad, there are 5,000 people talking about it. Sometimes lakhs of people talking about that. Why we have to make this kind of a culture, dear friends? Why can't we speak good about others? They're our God, they're our brothers and sisters, right? Let's speak something good about them. Can I ask you one thing? I really wish this to ask from you, because many of you are holding back for me. I am so grateful to you. Right now, we have more than around 190 people at present, attending this from last almost 1 hour, and I'm almost on the end of my presentation. 5 more minutes I'll take. Please, I want to ask you this, dear friend. Can we stop criticizing and can we start appreciating? Maybe our harsh words would make such a big difference in that person's life who had decided to commit suicide. Maybe those last few words he heard or she heard was our criticism towards them. That's why it chose the act of suicide. Maybe most of us are feeling low in our life because people are constantly comparing us, or we are constantly comparing ourselves, and we are criticizing, or we are being criticized. Can we create a better world by speaking good about others rather than speaking bad about others? You see how easy it is to speak bad about others, how easy it is to speak bad about others, and how difficult it is to speak good about others. Hardly you count it for yourself. I can see it in my own life. I have seen many people, so many people whom I have met. Negativity is so easy. People keep speaking criticism about anybody. It is so easy to criticize. I give you a difficult task to do. Please promise this to me. My dear audience, my dear friends, my dear students, my dear sisters, my dear brothers, I wish this request from you. You please promise daily, can you try appreciating one person in life? Maybe if you start appreciating people, you will never find reason to commit suicide, or nobody else will find a reason to commit suicide. This is a simple promise I want from you. Start appreciating others. Attitude of gratitude. Express your gratitude, count your blessings. Many people only start thinking that they have nothing in life. Somebody came to us and said that God has given me nothing. He said, really? He said, yeah, God has given me nothing. The saints replied to him that okay, if God has given you nothing, I will give you 50 lakh rupees. He said, really? He said, yeah, I'll give you 50 lakh rupees. God has given you nothing, right? I'll give you 50 lakh rupees. He said, really? You're really serious? He said, yeah. Only one thing you have to do for me. Yeah, what I will do for you? Please give me your 2 eyes. Wait. No, sorry. I can't give you my 2 eyes. Listen, I'm giving you 50 lakh. Please give me 2 eyes. No, I can't give you 2 eyes. I said, okay. I'll give you 20 lakhs. Then do one thing. I'll give you 20 lakhs. The saint replied, I'll give you 20 lakhs. He said, okay, really? You give me 20 lakhs? He said, only one thing you have to do for me. What is that? Give me your 2 legs. Just give me your 2 legs and I'll give you 20 lakhs. What? I can't give my 2 legs. I can't give my 2 legs. In that way, the saint started putting value to each and every part of his life, and the man realized, probably I've got property more than 1 crore. God has given us free. God has given us this whole body for free. People don't count their blessings. In today's world, we are only counting what we don't have. We are not grateful for what we have. I always tell people, if you are grateful for what you have, you will get more. If you are ungrateful, you will always feel, I have less, I have less, I have less. Is it not true? It's not true, my dear friends. How often do we count our blessings? Very rare. And here is what I want to teach you. I want to give you an exercise. Can I please give you? Now is the time we are wanting to end very soon. I have just 2 or 3 more things to teach you, which are not going to take much time. I know that all of you are busy, but can I request you for just give your 2 minutes to me? I humbly request all of you. I want to request this to all of you. Please give your 2 minutes to me. In your chat box, please see this. In your chat box, please see this. Please see in your chat box right now. I'm going to send you an exercise for everybody. I'm just writing it. I'm just putting it there. Okay. I'm just putting it. Yeah. This is a Google form. This is an exercise for you. I want that everyone, please give me your 2 minutes. Please. This can really change your life, dear friends. This will really change. So you can please stop typing at present, friends. And please take this Google form. I put on your chat box again. Please click this. Please click this and give me your 2 minutes and do this exercise for me, please. You can see it for yourself. I am telling you, you can see it for yourself. What I just now said to you can make a lot of change in your life. If you just do this simple things which I am telling you. Okay, please do this. We're almost at 7. I'm not going to take a lot of time from you. I need your 2 minutes to kindly complete this exercise for me. Please. You know, I wish that every one of you do this because I want you to experience what I am telling you. I am asking in this question, there is a question which I have put. Okay, I have put a question there in this exercise. I am going to share, stop sharing my screen. I have given you a question, dear friends. In this, you have to just answer 2 questions. It just takes you 2 minutes, not more than that. Okay, but please do this exercise for me. Please do this exercise. If you're doing this exercise, it will come in front of my eyes and I'll be able to see. Yeah, I want to see the responses coming. In front of my eyes, it will come. I'll share my Google Sheet with you. Share my screen, the Google Sheet. This is called as express your gratitude exercise. Please do it for me, please. Just give your 2 minutes. Start sharing with me. Your responses are going to come in front of yourself right here. If you wish to avoid your name, you can avoid your name. Name field is not compulsory. If you share your name, I can appreciate you from my side. I can appreciate you from my side. Please don't go away at present. No, just do this exercise. After this, I have just one more thing to teach you. Finish off. All over. After that. Okay. So yeah. So I request you to get back to me. Okay. The first response has already come. First response have already come. It's in front of your eyes. First response has already come by Praveen Marti. I really thank you, Praveen, for being the first person here, to share your views. Please, I request everyone, kindly do this. Kindly do this for yourself. Just give your 2 minutes to this, and you can experience it for yourself. Whatever I'm teaching, whatever I'm telling you, just do a little bit of appreciation. Just express a gratitude for anyone whom you have met in your life. Just try doing it and see what happens to you. See what happens to you. See what happens to you. Yeah, right. Okay, so Kirti is appreciating me. Thank you. Okay, so you're feeling good, you're feeling happy, you're feeling amazing and light. So Chaitanya is feeling amazing and light. Srujan is feeling awesome. Okay, thank you. That's really great. Really great. Just see, dear friends, it's in front of you. It's in front of you. Your brothers and sisters, your friends are writing in front of you. See it. It's on your screen. And you do it and see it for yourself. I wish to make a century today. Would you like to help me to make a century? Century means more than 100 responses I get, and it will become a century. I've got around 25 responses right now, which is very good. But you please engage yourself in this exercise and see it for yourself. Don't miss the fun. See it for yourself. You can write it short, you can write in your own words, whatever you see, and see it for yourself. How you feel. Great and happy is what Pavan Chandra is feeling. Amazing is what Vineet Kumar is feeling. Feeling blessed is what Uttami is feeling. You don't miss it. You please share with me how you're feeling. Okay, great. So here is Ravi Teja. Ravi Teja is feeling excellent. Okay, Ravi Teja, you are there. I'm welcome. I know you personally. Okay. So Abhishek is feeling fabulous. All right. It made me smile. Huh? Okay. Thank you. I'm happy, Priyadarshini, that I was able to make you smile. I was so thankful of you. I'm feeling very happy that others also care for me. Manaswani is feeling. Just see. Your friends, take this experience for you. Do it for yourself. Start doing this. Imagine what I'm making you do now. Can you not do it every day? Does it take more than 2 minutes for you? Think about it. Just think about it. Probably we have learned something wrong in life, that we have to compare with others, we have to compete with others, we have to criticize others, we have to find faults with others. No, we don't have to do that. We have to do the opposite. Let's start appreciating. We'll create a better world. Right? Let's start expressing our gratitude. We'll feel ourselves very happy. We'll feel blessed. This is what I want to tell you, my dear friends. I have got a lot of responses here. I'm so happy, and I really wish that each and every one of you try this. Maybe many of you are typing, and some of you may be a little slow in typing. It's just fine, but I wish that you try. So he's saying, I feel blessed. So I got a response from Arvind Kumar. He's saying that I feel blessed and so happy to get this opportunity. Okay, really. Fine. He's feeling wonderful today. Vamshi is feeling wonderful today, and very happy is what the response of Kumar Shivraj is. Grateful is what Ankit is feeling. Vivek is feeling. I'm feeling lucky to get them. Those people, probably. Yes, that's what. Start counting your blessings. Every single day. Can I request you? You will try to do this. Can I request you this? If you want to make your door, I said to you, right? If you want to be handsome, and it's also for women, okay? If you want to be handsome, all you have to do is just try to give your hands some. That's it. And you will find amazing things happening in your life. Life is wonderful. Life is really wonderful. Okay, Muskan is, Muskan is saying, I feel very light and amazing. Thank you so much, Okay. I'm just lucky to have you. Okay, Prateek is saying. Thank you, Prateek, for attending today's program. Okay, Vinita is saying, I feel good. Okay, Sudhakar is saying good. That's really nice. And I've got 76 responses. In the interest of others, I'll stop taking responses now because I want to tell you just two more things at the end over here. Don't go away. I need to take your feedback so that I can serve others properly. Okay? So please don't go away. Let's see what's there ahead, which is just a little bit, one more principle, and we end with that. Okay? Yeah, here we are. This is what I want to say to you. Serve one another in love. Start serving others. Start serving others. And learn wisdom and learn the right way of life by attending some spiritual programs. See, this is a research by Patrick Glynn from George Washington University. He wrote this book, God the Evidence, and he says, I read this out for you. Please read this. If you're out typing in the exercise, you could be please stopping and you could please reading this. It says, religious believers are found to be less prone to suicide. I'm not saying this. Who am I to say? This is what is being found by Patrick Glynn. You can type this. You can see it on the internet also, Google also. So they are less prone to suicide, alcohol abuse, drug abuse, divorce, stress, and depression. Wow. All I can say this is, if it's this really wonderful, so good, it's not bad trying out attending one program a week of spirituality, learning something about God, learning something about wisdom, learning something about really trying to how to live our life based on this wisdom. It says this is the last thing for the day. And it says people who attended a spiritual program at least once a week lived average 7 years longer than those who don't attend at all. Okay. So can I request you, dear friends, that you will try to attend one program a week? One program a week. If you will try to do that, it really can help you a lot. High SQ faithfulness to God appears to benefit people of all means, educational levels, and ages. So my conclusion is this: is in front of you. I want to end with this, but before you go, please don't go away. I see some of you are leaving. I just need your feedback, and maybe there is a small round of questions and answers. Maybe because many of you want to ask me questions, and I'm available for next few minutes for asking questions. Please don't go away. Please give me this feedback now. I wish to take feedback from you. Small feedback. This is going to take you just 1 minute. The previous one took you 2 minutes. This one will take you only just 1 minute because it's only tick mark, tick mark, tick mark. That's all. I need to take this feedback from you, please. Because I give a lot of programs, and if I take feedback from others, I have learned that I can improve myself to serve others. So I therefore request you that please, okay? Please take this. Please take this. I'll take questions and answers. Please take this form. Please kindly fill this form and kindly, please attend. Please give me your feedback, and then we have a few questions and answers. Okay. Please kindly fill this form, and kindly after that we have the questions and answers. And if you're filling this, I'm so happy. Phone one, whoever is there, they have some personal problem with me, you can please call me up and inform me. It will be very good. Thank you. I will try to surely want to do something. Right.
So, by the time all of you fill this feedback form,
you have some important announcements here, dear friends. Please kindly hear the important announcements. After that, we can have questions.
Atul sir, you can announce.
First of all, I would like to express my deep gratitude towards Amal sir for giving such an enlightening session. I hope all the students and all the corporates and various all the different kind of people joining from different parts of India. Would be very. We saw the responses, how everyone was very grateful towards their own life, towards the people in their lives, and how they were very grateful to Amal sir also for giving such a wonderful session. We hope and pray that Amal sir, please keep on coming like this and give us your enlightening wisdom to all of us, so that we can harness the deep wisdom inside our lives.
Yeah. So also, I have my social media channels. If anybody likes to connect with me, I would like to also give them my social media channels, where I'm going to paste this, my social media outreach channels. Recently, I have started sharing wisdom on social media. If you wish to connect with me, because when people ask me how do I know about your program, so this is the way. I'm putting the link in front. My Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, and Instagram. If anybody is desiring, you can please kindly look at that on your chat box. Thank you. Questions now. Can I take questions? Few questions. It's okay. Atul?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Yeah. So yeah. Shushruth is asking. Now you can ask questions. Okay. So one by one, I have first question by Shushruth. Shushruth is saying, "Sir, won't comparison improve us?" See. One by one, I'll take questions, okay? So first question is Shushruth's question. So he's saying that won't comparison improve us? You see, when I meant to say comparison, it's about comparing with others and then thinking that why they have better than me, why I don't have better than them. This kind of comparison is not going to improve us. But the kind of comparison you are telling is called as inspiration. That's not called as comparing. Comparing means he has X, I have Y, why he has X and why I have only this. I have to become more, I have to become better and higher. That is called as comparison in English. What you are saying is called as analytic inspiration, right? Inspiration means they are doing so good. Let me also learn from them and do good. Not because I want to become better than them. That's not my purpose. Purpose is not to become better than them. My purpose is to become better than what I am right now, right? My purpose is to become better than what I am right now. I take inspiration. I wish that person gets 100 times more success than me. This is what we should pray. Imagine if everybody in the world starts praying like this, that everyone else get 100 times success better than me. How many people are going to pray for you? 8 billion minus 1. If everybody in the world starts praying for each other, let everybody else get 100 times better success than me. How many people are going to pray for you? 8 billion minus 1. That means how many times success you are going to get? 8 billion into 100. That much amount of success, more than what your own self you can pray for yourself. Right? Think about it. If we all start praying, hey, somehow that person should get defeated. Some person should get defeated. So he should go down. Oh my God, we're creating a hell of the planet, and that's what is happening, and that's why there are so many suicides, so many problems. I hope that answers your question. Yeah. So we should, Then there is another question. I may not be able to take it one by one. In the sequence, whatever I'm able to see, I will surely take. When you feel lonely, still no one loves me. When you feel lonely, what should you do? When you feel lonely and you feel that no one loves you, what should you do? There are two things that you can do. Things immediately I'm telling you, immediate answers to this. Number one, you can go to someone and speak out that you are feeling unloved. Believe me, if you tell to someone, probably they will say, no, I didn't mean that. See, it just takes a small amount of conversation and you will see that so many people love you actually. Just say, many times you're keeping feelings in our mind. We're keeping our feelings in our own mind. You're not telling others. You go and tell your mother, I'm not feeling loved. And then the mother will say, Beta, but I love you so much. Then maybe the way they're expressing their love to you, you are not able to take it. Like sometimes a mother says, mother starts comparing with another child. Khurane ke bete ne to, Khurana's child has done so much, why you are not like that, and then you start feeling, nobody loves me. Go and tell to your mother, why did you do that? I'm not feeling loved. Please help me. Mother will say, hey, beta, I love you so much. I compared because they may not have known the right philosophy of life. Even our parents might have not learned the right philosophy of life because these things which I'm teaching you, they're not taught in the colleges. Where are they taught? People don't go and attend spiritual programs. These things are not taught in the schools and colleges. When the values of life are not taught to anybody, how do you expect even elders behave properly? As I told you in my quota program, many parents came and told me that even we have to attend your classes. I said, probably if that's what the way you can help your children, maybe you can. So just communicate. Start communicating. whoever asked me this question, start communicating. If you're feeling, I'm not feeling love, go and speak. Go and speak to those whom you are feeling that they should love you. Go and tell them honestly. Maybe you will get it. The second thing which you get to, start appreciating others for whatever they are trying to do for you and see how much love comes your way. As I told you in today's program itself, start appreciating, start expressing your gratitude and see what will happen. So much will happen. So many people. You see, life gives back to us what we give to life. If you criticize others, you will get 100 times more criticism. If you appreciate others, you will get 100 times more appreciations also. If you want love, what you should do? What you should do if you want love? Start loving others. People tell me I am not feeling loved. I say you probably are not loving others. Start loving others. Do something for someone that expresses your love. When you express your love for someone, they will also express. You know, you can see it on the street, a small puppy, small dog. You try to just, touch them nicely, give them some little food. Start wagging their tails. Start licking your, licking you back. If an animal will do that, I want a human being. Start trying to love others. Maybe you will get a lot of love. Isn't it? And if you have hurt someone, say forgiveness. Please ask forgiveness. If you have hurt someone, speak, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that, please forgive me. You will get again so much of love from me. Right? It's so simple. It's so simple. Life is simple, right? We don't learn these things. Okay, so another question I would like to take up. There are a lot of you are asking so many questions. I am happy to take them. Some of them I can take now. It's 7:20. I can maximum take 5 more minutes because many of you may want to attend to many other things. How to give hope to people who are facing problems in life? Yes, another brilliant question. How to give hope? The easiest way you can give hope to people is by making them realize their potential. When they start feeling I'm worthless, they start feeling like, what is good for living. You just give them. If you want to give hope to a person, all you have to do is find out something good in them and appreciate them nicely. Yeah? Genuinely, it should not be some tactics. It should be genuinely coming from your heart. Something good in them. Just like that boy, I told you he was about to go on the beach. He was, and what he was trying to do. So the moment he came back, I didn't say, "Why did you do that? How the hell?" Nothing. I just sat him down and gave him some words of appreciation. I told him, I value you a lot. You are so wonderful person. Not because you have this degree or this much money or this, that. As a person, I love you very much. You are having so many good qualities. Give your genuine and honest appreciation. People get hope. People get hope. Another easiest way a person can get hope in life is connecting themselves with God. That's another best way, easiest way. Anytime somebody feels hopeless, pray to God. If you have faith on God, which is a scientific thing, I'm not talking only some emotional platform. We can discuss and we can see that God's existence is very scientific also. But from this point of view, people start getting hope in life when they have faith on a good God. It is a God who is good and who will surely do something good for me, who will surely do something good for the world. Immediately you start feeling so relaxed and so peaceful, isn't it? It's a few ways you can give hope to people. Yeah. Okay, that's good. So it's saying that if I don't have anything to appreciate in them, the person who asked this question is saying, if I don't have anything to appreciate in others, no. Every single person has something good to appreciate in them. Can they not do anything good? You really feel that they cannot do anything good? Everybody can do something good. Even an ant can do something good. Even an elephant can do something good. Even a dog can do something good. Everyone in this world has something good in them. Just try to identify that. Finding good nature, dear friends, you all have to cultivate. Today in this world, so much negativity we are filled na, that we are not seeing anything good in others. But try to understand everyone has something good in them. Please practice trying to see good in others. Okay. There is another question which says how to deal and overcome depression in everyday life. See, my mother asked. I'll show you a practical example. Okay, practical example. My mother came over to me 5 days before she started. She was panicking. I said, "What happened? I didn't see you this way. Suddenly you are panicking like this. What happened to you?" She said, "So much negative. This is there. This is there. This is there." I said, "Who told you there is so much negative?" She started telling me this news channel, that news channel, this news channel, that news channel. I said, "Say, you're not going to watch any one of them." I told, "Please, for next 1 week, nothing watching of all those news channels which are telling you so many negative. See, many of us, if we want to get rid of depression, start having something positive in life. Stop hearing negative. So much negative people are hearing. How will they not be depressed? Negative about the world, this, that. I mean, this whole social media thing, it's making people crazy. It makes hype, unnecessary hype. Hype, you understand? If this much is reality, they will show this big. This much is the reality, they will show this big. So much hype and panic. Don't if you are one of them, those who are feeling depressed, for a few days, just break off from the social media, and you'll start feeling more relaxed. Okay, and then you have to add positivity in your life. You cut off negativity and you add positivity. What is the way to add positivity? Read some wisdom books, read some good literatures who can just give you good thoughts. Attend some seminars like what they are presenting now in front of you. Attend some good seminars where you can learn some positivity. You will get some more positivity. You will overcome depression easily. Okay, and the most important thing to overcome depression is find out some good friends, find out some good relatives, spend time with them. Easiest way to get rid of all this depression thing which is going on. We need relationships, okay? We need to value each other. We need love. We need real love. We don't need social media love. We need real love with people, right? We need real friends to connect with. So start appreciating your friends, connect with them, and you will get over your loneliness and depression very, very quickly. That is why, dear friends, I told you, don't compete, don't speak harsh words, don't find faults. Start appreciating, express gratitude. Then you will find relationships will be so good, and you will never feel depressed and lonely. Even if you lose your job, even if you have some health problem, even if something wrong happens, still you will feel happy, because at least there is someone who loves you. At least there is someone who cares for you, right? So that is what we need. And we need a relationship with God also, because that is another thing which really makes everyone positive. My own life, I have this testimony that because I chant the names of God daily, and I really feel wonderful and happy, because of that. Okay, maybe one last question and then we end. I'm so happy. More than 100 people are still there. I want to answer your questions, dear friends. You can take my email ID. I can't answer. I'm sorry. I can't answer all your questions. Please connect with me on my social media platform, and you can mail me if you wish to. Please, this is my email ID. I won't be able to answer all those questions now because it's time to end this last question, which will end our today's program. But I'm feeling so fortunate to be with all of you, inquisitive audience, and I'm sure you will make a big difference in this world. The last question for the day. Social media is so addictive. How to come out of it? I was guessing somebody will say this to me. Yeah, social media is so addictive. How do I get out of that? Find out some other addiction. You see, it is said that if you want to give up something, first find out something which you can become more strongly addicted to. If you want to give up, say, alcohol, then you have to have some other habit. If you want to give up some bad habit, you have to cultivate good habit. Is it not true? So find out a new addiction or new something which can help you, that kind of hobby or habit. Like you can start meditation. Whoever has asked this question, you can probably start meditation. And because of that meditation, you're creating an energy, positive energy in you to come out of this negative addictions, right? You can find out some better engagement. You can probably start reading some literature, some books, like suggested books. There's so many good books out there. Like I always say this Puranas, and we have this Ramayana, and we have this Gita. These are so wonderful books. Try it out. Have a change in hobby. Spend some 15 minutes, half an hour on this. Maybe it will be better for you. Or maybe you attend some program like what they're showing, whatever. You attend some spiritual program, and you may see it for yourself. It may be good change. You may be able to come out from some bad habit by cultivating a good habit. That's the easiest. Okay. Fine. I'm so happy at the end now. I wish to thank all of you for giving me this opportunity today to serve you. I hope this will make a difference in your life. And if it does so, please do make a difference in someone else's life also. So grateful to you. Thank you so much for being with me and for being with all of us today. Surely, please give me your feedback because it really matters. And if you like today's program, please give your comments to me, and I'll be seeing that. If I could serve you properly, please.